Vaults families to this week's Sunday Storytime. Get ready to mark your calendars with this week's news and coming events, which will be followed by a news story for the week. Can't wait to find out what it is. And the final segment will be our Mindful Minute with Mrs. Papa. Stay tuned. In this week's events at Vaults, school will be closed from March 16th through March 27th in order to reduce the spread of germs. Please remind your kids that good hand washing is the best way to stay healthy.
No harán clases desde el 16 de marzo hasta el 27 de marzo. Por favor, hable con sus estudiantes sobre precauciones, como pueden prevenir gérmenes, como lavar las manos. Gracias.
Thank you for watching another episode of Sunday Storytime. I'm Eddie McGrath, Science Supervisor of Red Clay, and tonight it is my pleasure to read to you Mrs. Carter's Butterfly Garden by Dr. Steve Rich of Atlanta, Georgia. Dr. Rich is a friend of mine, and as you can see, he signed the book, and it says, "To Eddie, from Follow Mrs. Carter's Example and Garden for Butterflies and All Pollinators, Steve Rich." Dedicated with admiration to former First Lady Rosalind Carter. Rosalind Smith was a very smart girl who grew up in the small Georgia town of Plains, where she was born in 1927. She loved colorful zinnias, petunias, and other flowers that her mother planted in the front yard of their traditional white wood house. Like many rural Georgia families, the Smiths had a milk cow. Young Rosalind father told her to pull up the milkweed growing in the wild along the fence because it made the cow's milk bitter. She didn't know then that one day she would plant milkweed to help another animal. She also loved to read, and she was an excellent student, graduating high school at the top of her class. After finishing college, Rosalind married another Plains native, Jimmy Carter. She first left Georgia as a Navy wife to travel wherever her husband was stationed. When her husband became the governor of Georgia, Mrs. Rosalind Carter became the First Lady of the state, and when he later became the 39th President of the United States, 1977 to 1981, she became the First Lady of the entire nation. I should mention that I had the pleasure of meeting President Jimmy Carter in 1997. I was in middle school. It was only for a moment, but he was very nice, and that's one of the other reasons I picked this book. First Lady is the title given to the wife of a state's governor or of the President of the United States. During their years in the Navy and political office, the Carters lived in places such as Georgia, Virginia, Connecticut, California, and Washington, D.C. Then after many years of public service, President and Mrs. Carter returned home to Plains, Georgia. Like many other former presidential families, the Carters continue to live in their home, but have granted it to the National Park Service, so it is a designated National Historic Site. And the park rangers take care of the plants and grounds. As plans were made to plant a garden in front of Mrs. Carter's home, she wanted to make sure the garden would benefit the environment, just as when she was a young girl, she took to reading. She found out about a special kind of garden that has everything a butterfly needs, but she also learned that human activity has destroyed many habitats for butterflies. In a butterfly garden, there are plants with flowers that have sweet nectar that a butterfly can taste with its feet before drinking through its straw-like proboscis. There are also host plants on which butterflies lay eggs. Caterpillars hatch from these eggs and spend their time eating leaves all day. Mrs. Carter knew farmers around the town of Plains had crops that needed flying pollinators. After all, she and her husband had run the family peanut business before Jimmy's political career. What if she had a garden that would attract pollinators to the area? Well, the spot in front of Mrs. Carter's house was the right kind of sunny space. She wanted most to provide a habitat for monarch butterflies, so she planted some milkweed, the host plant for this special migrating butterfly. That is the milkweed, and that's the monarch. Mrs. Carter recalled that when she was a girl, her father had told her to pull up the milkweed to prevent the cow's milk from being bitter. But that same bitterness protects the monarch caterpillar and monarch butterfly by making them poisonous to predators such as birds. On the milkweed, Mrs. Carter saw the stages of the butterfly's life cycle. She turned a leaf and saw the tiny egg on the underside. Later, the caterpillar came out and ate the egg shell as its first meal. Next, the caterpillar started devouring the plant, devouring leaf after leaf after leaf. Another week or so passed, and the caterpillar steadily grew. And soon the caterpillar hung upside down and began to squirm out of its skin, becoming a chrysalis. And there's the chrysalis. The chrysalis was green and had some parts with a golden shine. After about 2 more weeks, the adult butterfly emerged. Just as she had done all her life, Mrs. Carter wanted to share her work. She wanted people to know about her garden when they came from all over to visit the Jimmy Carter National Historic Site in Plains. So she decided to have several gardens all along a special trail where visitors could see butterflies such as monarchs, swallowtails, skippers, Gulf fritillaries, and many other species. This would allow visitors to learn about how they can also plant gardens that provide habitats for monarch butterflies and other pollinators. Local people helped. They planted more gardens at Plains High School, the Jimmy Carter Boyhood Farm, the Plains Welcome Center, and even downtown Plains. Just as Mrs. Carter traveled around the country and the world throughout her lives, the monarch butterfly travels in a seasonal migration. The butterflies fly south from Canada to places throughout the United States. When it's cold, they head to their winter destination, Mexico. In Mexico, they are dormant for several months, and when the weather gets warm, they become active again. In the spring, they start flying north. They mate and lay eggs. A new generation of butterflies comes back to the United States, and some stop in the garden at Mrs. Carter's home. There, they find familiar plants and flowers that make up the butterfly habitat. Mrs. Carter knows that the world travelers can be refreshed with all they need in a small South Georgia town. It is her hope that the butterflies will find their way home to her garden and have all the plants they need for many years to come. She also hopes that people will find their way to Plains to learn about how 2 young people from this small town made it all the way to the White House as President and First Lady. A different type of journey, but one with just as many challenges as the migrating butterflies face. Well, thank you for watching, and please tune in next week for another episode of Sunday Storytime.
Hey guys, it's Miss Persani. We here at BALT hope you are enjoying our weekly Sunday Storytime episodes as much as we are. We are having a blast reading to you and your families. We would love to see how you and your families watch us. Do you snuggle in bed with your iPad or iPhone? Do you watch it on your TVs and huddle all up on the couch? Send us your pictures to air on future upcoming episodes of Sunday Storytime. Also, do you have any favorite stories or favorite mindful minute techniques that you have heard or tried? Email us and let us know at baltSundayStorytime@gmail.com and tell us about it. We can't wait to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, you rock.
Good evening, Balts community. Tonight for our Mindful Minute section, I'm going to be reading you a story about calming down big feelings. It's called 1, 2, 3, A Calmer Me. I am happy, but sometimes I feel very mad and very frustrated. Like the other day, when I let go of my balloon, I was so mad. My friend told me it's okay to feel mad, but there's something I can do to feel better. I can stop and say a rhyme that has some actions. Let's try the rhyme together. 1, 2, 3, a calmer me. 1, 2, 3, I hug me. Give yourself a big hug, nice and tight. 1, 2, 3, relax and breathe. Take a big breath in and let it out slowly. 1, 2, 3, a calmer me. Pretend your arms are jelly. Let your hug slide away. I'm so glad my friend showed me what to do. When I stopped and said the rhyme, it slowed my body down and helped me get rid of my mad feelings. The next day, when I had to stop playing, I felt mad again. I tried saying the rhyme all by myself. 1, 2, 3, a calmer me. 1, 2, 3, I hug me. 1, 2, 3, relax and breathe. 1, 2, 3, a calmer me. Guess what? It worked. The mad feelings got smaller and smaller, and I felt better. Now I say the rhyme whenever I need it and wherever I go. I say it when someone takes my favorite red crown. 1, 2, 3, a calmer me. 1, 2, 3, I hug me. 1, 2, 3, relax and breathe. 1, 2, 3, a calmer me. Then I feel calm and ready to play again. When schoolwork is hard, I say the rhyme again. 1, 2, 3, a calmer me. 1, 2, 3, I hug me. 1, 2, 3, relax and breathe. 1, 2, 3, a calmer me. It works. I feel calm and I try my best. When I play sports, I say the rhyme because no one wins all the time. 1, 2, 3, a calmer me. 1, 2, 3, I hug me. 1, 2, 3, relax and breathe. 1, 2, 3, a calmer me. Some days I still get mad and frustrated, but when I say the rhyme, I feel so much better. If you get mad and frustrated this week, try saying 1, 2, 3, a calmer me.
Hey guys, it's Miss Persani. Don't forget to like and share this video, and also make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss another episode. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, you rock.
If you get mad and frustrated, I am happy, but sometimes I feel 1, 2, 3, relax and breathe. Take a big breath